Recording, yes.
Okay, well, we are back in the motherfucking house. Yep, you thought we weren't going to have another show, but guess what? We proved you wrong. We have show 2 here with the podcast, which I hastily titled Public Figures. Do you know why I titled it Public Figures, Timo?
Because we are public figures.
Exactly. And I was surprised when I typed in my own name into Google that it said Rob Jabbaz public figure, and I was like, "What the fuck? Who wrote that?"
You are a cornerstone of the Taiwan/Canadian pop culture, man. So
Yeah.
Don't humble yourself is what I'm saying.
Thank you very much. So we were kind of tiptoeing around it last time that we got together to talk, but now the cat's out of the bag. Mr. Timo Tjahjanto is directing Nobody 2, starring Bob Odenkirk. And he's in Winnipeg right now, talking to me from a hotel room, from like is it a Sherbrooke hotel?
Nah, it's a Fairmont hotel, but Fairmont Winnipeg. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. So how's that? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I like Winnipeg, man. As far as it's a weird town. Have you ever been to Winnipeg?
I've never been to Winnipeg. I told you I have cousins from Winnipeg. And they hated it. Yes. But I've never been there myself.
It's actually kind of a weird town because it's small yet big at the same time, if you know what I'm saying. So the land is like fucking fast, man. It's like every house from one another, it's like so distancy. Like there's a significant distance between one house to another. Sure. And everything is flat in here. Yet the biggest mall, it's probably, I went to the mall, I'm Asian, so obviously I have to find mall to find my, I pack up rather.
Big mall rat over here. Big mall rat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you are a mall rat too, right? So, I tried to find like the biggest mall, which is called Polo Park. And, it's kind of like the size of, I don't know. Well, you're in Asia, right? So like the malls are gargantuan over there,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so it's a weird place, man. But like it's kind of cool because it seems like there's not much to do around here. So in a way, you are just focusing on work.
Sure. Well, that's what I think people want to be hearing about. Like they want to be hearing about kind of like the not so much what Winnipeg's like, but more kind of like what the process is of you coming in from like you're an Indonesian guy. You've done most of your films in Indonesia, and now you're getting carted over to Canada, and you're working with what's the team called? It's like North 81 or some shit.
Ag7 North. Ag7 North.
Right. So, Ag7 North.
Ag7 North is a company owned by David Leitch and Kelly McCormick, both very awesome producers. David Leitch, he's a very established director. Mm-hmm. Did The Fall Guy, Bullet Train, Deadpool 2, I think, and he did Atomic Blonde, which I really really like.
Yeah. That wasn't a bad one at all.
Yeah, it's a great film, So basically, like they have a bunch of projects over here that they did the first Nobody, they did Violent Night, like the Santa Claus movie. And
they did that one with Joe Bezos. That was his movie, right?
No.
That was
Violent Night was, I think, Tommy Wirkola, the guy who did That's
the guy from Stranger Things.
Yes, what's his
name?
David. Jeez, what's his name?
Harbour.
David Harbour, yeah, and John Leguizamo.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, they did this one in here as well, man. Like that, like I'm lucky enough to be doing this in the summertime. Like they did like Violent Night and the first Nobody, especially Violent Night at the cusp of summer. At the cusp of winter, sorry. And there's a funny story how I think I can tell you this. Like it gets so cold here. Especially for John Leguizamo. So when he shot that film, every one take he would go back to the van. He doesn't even go back to the tent or whatever. He go back inside the van, where he would put all the heaters on. at maximum warmth, and he just stay there because it's so fucking cold here, man. Like, dude, I'm a Southeast Asian dude, so when I came here thinking it's like, oh, summertime, that's nice, and it's still too cold for me. So that's all I do, man. Like, you think I'm gonna be telling you interesting stories about Hollywood, but in actuality, I'm just eating and fucking staying in the hotel, making shot lists and all that stuff.
So that's what they want to. That's what the people out there want to hear. They want to hear about. That's it. Like, he's in a hotel and he's making shot lists. You know,
making shot lists, doing storyboards with my storyboard artist through Zoom. So yeah, man, exciting life ahead.
Yeah, yeah. See, it's not all glitz and glamour, people. See, it's mostly just hanging out.
It's not.
It's all just hanging out in the hotel, eating fucking Postmates,
eating fucking the hotel
room service,
fucking service, room service, and all that shit. But even if you go to the office / studio where we are shooting, it's business as usual. I work with some really great people over here. Like, I'm amazed, man. Like, Winnipeg, I tell you, right? It's a small, but like a lot of films has been shot here for a long time, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great chance to talk with the actor Clifton Collins Jr. You know who he is?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and then we were chatting and all that stuff, like you right now, like via the computer screen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yo, man, are you in Fairmont, Winnipeg?" And I was like, "How do you know?" Like, I can recognize the background, man. I was like, "Oh, you been here?" Dude, like I shot Capote over in Winnipeg, so I was surprised. Like, holy shit! Like, I fucking love Capote with the late Philip Seymour
Hoffman.
Hoffman, and I didn't realize they shot that in Winnipeg as well. So basically, this place is a perfect sort of location if you wanna emulate the Midwest experience, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
There's plenty of that. So yeah, man. Like,
where I'm from.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say where I'm from in Canada. Like,
You're in Vancouver, right?
No. I'm in like the suburbs of Toronto. So
Toronto. Sorry.
I always thought that, like, when I saw It Follows, I really felt like sort of suburban Michigan felt a lot like the neighborhoods that I grew up in.
Okay.
And I think that kind of, that's, I mean, yeah, like I think it probably is. There is sort of like an analogous relationship to like that kind of Midwest experience. Winnipeg seems like a great place to shoot, because the thing about Vancouver, whenever I think of shooting in Vancouver, I always think like everything's just going to look like the X-Files, or maybe
is that where they shot most of X-Files? Is it?
Yeah, like I think for the first like 4 seasons or maybe even 5 seasons. And it has that very, very, very Vancouver look to it. It's hard to explain, but just like the way that the houses look and the way that the sky looks when it's raining, and just like a lot of rain.
And for a long time, I think they did cheat all the stuff that's supposed to take place in New York in films. They did cheat it in Vancouver, right? I think either Toronto or Vancouver, one of those.
Yeah, I mean the one that I always think of is like, for the shooting Toronto for New York. Whenever anyone says that, I always immediately think of Short Circuit 2 with Johnny Five. Short Circuit 2, they shot. Yep. I mean, they didn't even try to hide it. Like, they were like, Toronto has streetcars, like electric streetcars, and it's like they're just going through the street. And it's like, yeah, this is New York City, and it's like, what are you talking about? It doesn't look like New York at all, Exactly. I remember there are some funny instances like that where you're trying to shoot one city for another, like, or even I remember. Do you remember when Brian Usna made Faust in Spain when he was doing Fantastic Factory?
I haven't seen Faust, but like I know. Yeah, his Fantastic Factory, all his films is pretty much shot in Spain, right?
Yeah, shot in Spain, but like they're shot to be like American cities, and like he has one. He has Faust, and essentially what they did was they tried to shoot like maybe like Madrid for Chicago or New York or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like they have just like these weird like Spanish bridges that you're just like, come on, guys. Like, I mean, who are you even trying to fool with this nonsense? But
hey, but like, hey, you remember Stanley Kubrick didn't want to go. He doesn't want to fly out of UK anymore, right? After I don't know. After The Shining, I think he's pretty much moved to United Kingdom.
Right.
And for some reason, like he's kind of like swore not to fly anymore. I could be wrong, but like that's the story anyway. So I didn't fucking realize like he shot Full Metal Jacket all in London, or at least not in London, but like at least all over
UK,
England. Yeah, UK. And like fucking even White Eye Shut, like, which is a New York film, like it's supposed to take place in New York.
Yeah.
He shot that in all over around London, and then for that famous like fucking Tom Cruise walking around the city, he just used a back projector and put Tom Cruise on a fucking treadmill. So that's fucking kind of cool.
That's
cool.
That's
kind of cool, man.
I didn't even pick up on that at all. I was just looking on Twitter today, and I saw our friend Joe Lynch had just seen Maxine, the Ty West movie.
Shit, yeah.
And he said something, I forget what he said, like some sort of compliment. And then after he said, I like how they shot LA for LA, like what a novel idea. And that made me think like, that kind of makes me want to see Maxine, like just having like a
just to have that specific LA experience.
Yeah, having like a very LA feeling movie, that's like Hollywood Boulevard. Or that's what fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is all about, right? Like people exactly.
Dude, like I actually, like the first thing that my friend / attorney and my writer did like took me to when I arrived in LA. They took me to this place called Musso and Frank, which is a steak joint, and they took me there, and they told me like this is where they shot that scene with Al Pacino and fucking Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, like they were eating steak and all that shit.
Yeah.
So like if you go to LA, like that's the one thing that you try to sort of like find, like all these kind of landmarks where, dude, like. We just like randomly drive, and my friend just told me, "Hey, that's where that's the Black Dahlia's house." So that's kind of fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of magic in LA.
Sure. I mean, I always used to feel like, I always used to feel like excited about going to Cafe Diplomatico in Toronto, where Cronenberg filmed the arm wrestling scene in The Fly, where Jeff Goldblum breaks the guy's arm.
Man, you can barely see the place though.
Yeah, I know, but like you can barely see it, but I mean you can, and it was just because so few things happen in Toronto, like and also it's so rare because Cronenberg's like one of the only guys who like shoots Toronto for Toronto. It's like this takes place in Toronto, and so like we just knew about that. When I used to live, like I always lived kind of in Little Italy in Toronto or around that area.
Are you really?
Yeah. So yeah, I was with the greasy Italians most of the time when I lived in Toronto, and so I always go to.
Is it because of your Italian background?
Yeah, it's because I'm a paisan, but
you're a paisano.
Okay. The truth is just because they had a good calzone, and I'd go there at least like once or twice a week, and be like, fucking Jeff Goldblum used to break a guy's arm here. But another movie that I'm thinking of that was sort of shot like in LA that has that kind of, that LA wildness to it, that you only really get when you actually visit there, is Sean Baker's Tangerine. Do you remember that one? Yeah. What a fantastic
fucking
film.
Amazing film. Yep.
That guy rules.
It's a great film, man.
Yeah,
that dude, and something about Sean Baker, like he looks like this indie Sundance filmmaker, but like he has a fucking crazy ass knowledge about horror and genre films. Yeah,
I know. He did the documentary on Herschel Gordon Lewis, the grandfather of gore. That's like
yeah.
He was like the narrator of that and doing all the interviews and whatnot.
Do you know that Herschel Gordon Lewis actually saw my first short film?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I did a film called Macabre.
Yeah, Macabre.
And there's a short film version of it called Dara. And he saw it, man. He saw it because like we actually submitted to, I forgot what's the film festival name, but like it's his film festival. And we got in, and somebody from there. This is the early days of Twitter. Somebody said, "Hey, Herschel Gordon Lewis saw your film, dude."
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, "Who the fuck's Herschel Gordon Lewis?" And only then I realized like he's like the guy from who made like a what is it, 1001 Maniacs and shit, right?
Yeah, I think it's 2000 Maniacs.
2000 Maniacs. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
2001 Maniacs is actually like the remake that was made in like 2001
That's
or 2002.
Robert Englund's one, right?
No. Robert Englund is in it. The
Robert Englund's one. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I remember seeing that in the theaters actually, and being excited to see it for some reason, and then it was totally disappointing, and I was like, oh, okay, well, what could I have expected? Did you ever have anyone ask you why you called your film Macabre when there already is a perfectly good Lamberto Bava movie called Macabre?
At the time, I didn't even know there's like Lamberto Bava's film called Macabre. So I just like the word macabre. Like I was. Here's the thing, macabre for me just meant like it's fucking dark, it's violent, and it's bloody. But at the same time, there's also something funny about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know jack shit about filmmaking at the time, but like for me, any fucking over the top violence, you are always sort of like walking the thin line between horrible and just fucking hilarious, So I even at the time I was already kind of thinking like, well, this film is fucking goofy, dude. So let's title it Macabre, At the time when we released Macabre, people got so stressed over here because like, oh shit, it's so violent, it's so bloody, it's so traumatizing, and I was like, are you fucking nuts, dude? Have you seen fucking what's this? The fucking French film Inside and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking trauma.
Who directed that one? I know that it's Alexandre Aja.
No. Alexandre Bus. Yeah, Alexandre Aja did How to Tension, like the high tension, and Julian Maury and Alexandre Bustillo.
Right.
They're amazing. They're fucking amazing filmmakers. Underrated.
Absolutely.
Their films is always fucking great.
Did you see their movie, The Deep House?
Nah, The Deep House is the one underwater, right?
Yeah. That's the one that they put together.
I haven't seen it.
I
haven't seen it.
My first impression of that movie when I first saw it, I was like, "This is awesome!" Like, because just the sensation of it, like just the knee jerk reaction was just like, oh wow, like this is just like pretty much like something I've never seen before, and just like how.
Is it a French film or an American film?
Well, I mean, I think that it's an English language film, but it's
an English language film, all right.
But it takes place in France. It's like they go to visit some lake or whatever. But I'm stammering my way around, basically just saying that I really liked it the first time I saw it, but then it kind of fell apart a little bit, like towards the end, because it's suspension of disbelief kind of thing, and also. Number one, it's a sort of a suspension of disbelief thing where it's kind of like, well, I don't think they would have done that. But you have to kind of stretch your story when you have, okay, the whole movie is going to take place underwater in a house. We have to kind of come up with some twists and turns, and they have to be kind of artificially generated in a sense, right? And then the second thing too is like also, with a movie that is so, let's say, high concept like that, where it all just centers around a novel concept. It's like. Sometimes movies like that, they don't. There's just not enough of an idea to like kind of push it all the way to the end.
To stretch it, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I felt like that when I saw. Did you see The Coffee Table? That recent Spanish film, The Coffee Table, where the guy.
Nah, man. Like I haven't seen it. I heard it's fucked up.
Yeah. Sorry, my feeling of that one was just that it's too it's exactly the same thing. Just not enough of like an idea to take it through like a 90-minute. A 90-minute display, let's say,
right.
But anyhow, I got to tell you also that I've been selected to be a judge, like a jury member at Fantasia. I told you that last time we talked on Instagram.
Yeah. Montreal, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I'll be going there soon.
Are you going there?
Absolutely.
Nice. When are you going?
I can't remember the date. Sometime like maybe like mid to late July, but they've already given me like all the links to the films. So like I've seen half of the films that they've given me to judge, and they're all over the place. It's really funny actually. Like I mean, they're already on the program, so I guess I can talk about them because they're already listed in the official program. But
Gotcha.
It's I guess they Fantasia tries to sort of like democratize their competitions, like the films that they have in competition. So it's like they'll try to sort of favor smaller productions or like more independent quote unquote productions. And
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
and nothing wrong with that at all. I prefer that, But the thing though is that almost all the films that I've seen so far, they look like they're sub $2 million films, but then there's one French movie. It's an adaptation of like The Count of Monte Cristo, and it's just called The Count of Monte Cristo, and it looks like at least like a $25 million production. So it's like this great. So it's just like all these like super small like one room movies, and then all of a sudden this like crazy like high budget, like comparatively high budget movie with like
And
like ships in
is
it.
this like a is it like real famous actors and all that shit?
They're French. Remake? They're French, so I don't really know who they are. Like they're all like I'm kind of out of the loop. Like there are certain French actors that I would recognize. I mean,
like
Vincent
Cassel and shit.
Maybe only him.
Isn't it?
No. That's just like the only sort of French actor, the only working French actor that like I currently know.
Right.
But it's just so funny.
I think I could be wrong, but like I think Count of Monte Cristo. That's already a fucking what do you call it? Like a license-free kind of story, right? Like Dracula.
Public domain.
Public domain. Sorry, public
Right.
domain, like Frankenstein and all that shit.
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's like Alexander Dumas. That's like the Three Musketeers guy.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's probably it. I mean, I can see, just with sort of like the climate of film right now. The conservative approach. Oh, let's number one, let's base a script off of The Count of Monte Cristo. Why? Well, because number one, public domain. Number two, everyone knows what it is. It's a familiar IP or whatever.
It's a great fucking revenge story, dude.
Sure. And then
have you seen the Jim Caviezel? Like his version with fucking young Henry Cavill.
No, never. I've never seen any versions of Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, dude, it's fucking good, man.
Well, I can't wait.
I love that.
I can't wait to watch this. I can't wait to watch this this version because they haven't given me the trailer yet, or sorry, the screener yet. They've given me all of the screeners except for like a couple of them. They gave me. And that one I'll get, I think, like in a couple, like this week, basically. But like, I gotta tell you, man, so far the ones that I've watched, I haven't been super stoked on any of them, and it makes me a little nervous because they gave me 14 films to watch. So far, I'm like seven through, and none of them are blowing me away. Actually, most of them are kind of a little bit of a trudge to get through. And I hate to say this, and I'm saying this publicly. I'm putting this on the internet.
I'm sure all those hopeful filmmakers will be thrilled to hear you saying this stuff, man.
Well, but the thing is though, is that they're all going to think that they're the other seven,
All right.
if you're listening to this right now, you're sitting there and you're being like, yeah, I'm the one who, and they're not like up and coming filmmakers. These are all established filmmakers. Some of them are, like some of the directors are like in their 70s and 80s. Like these are like sort of Twilight sort of films that they're doing. Like there's a Canadian director who's got a film that I believe is the closing film, a French Canadian whatever. I don't know. Like I'm watching
them. David Cronenberg?
No, it's not. It's not old Davy Crone. Davy Crones. No, not him. It's a French Canadian guy. Anyways, all this to say, I don't know. I'm just kind of like looking forward to seeing. Well, I mean, there's still a lot of films that are going to be played at Fantasia that are not in competition. Like I know that. Like I'm excited to see Cuckoo with fucking what's her name, the trans girl from Euphoria. Schaefer. Hunter Schaefer.
Schaefer.
Right.
Yeah, that looks. And what's his name? Dan Stevens is there as well, right?
I think so.
Yeah. That looks pretty fucking interesting, man. It's like those, Gen Z horror types,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like
yeah.
I was looking forward to. I remember looking forward to seeing Bodies, and when I saw it, I was kind of like, I mean, it's a little underwhelming. But
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I mean, I did like it. I did like some technical things about it though. Like I thought, like a lot of the movie is just like phone flash, like it's being lit by phone flashlights, and then just sort of like maybe like floods coming through windows or whatever. But it's still, you get a very good sense of like the house, like even despite sort of like the low lighting, it still manages to really maintain the logic of geography. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was cool. That was a cool thing about it.
I'm generally, when I see a film poster and then there's a lot of glow sticks on it, I generally avoid that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah.
But it could be a great film. I'll check it out.
I mean, I don't think that I'd recommend it, to be honest. But it's not all bad, is all I'm saying.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man.
Have you watched anything recently that's cool? I actually like took your advice and I started watching a lot of the Alan J. Pakula movies and got kind of caught up on all those old ones like Clute and
it's great, right?
All the President's Men.
You know what's his last film that I really fucking love, that people just fucking laugh about it?
What?
The Devil's Own. Have you seen that one?
No, but I know which one you're talking about.
Fucking Brad Pitt. Yeah. Brad Pitt as an IRA secret agent.
Yeah.
And fucking Harrison Ford.
Right.
And it's fucking cool. It's fucking cool because it's one of the first film where, well, it's not one of the first film, but like it's actually that thing when Brad Pitt becomes such a fucking huge pretty boy star.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to break free from that stereotype. Which I think he didn't need to, because like he did so fucking good. And have you seen California with David Duchovny?
California with a K?
And Juliet. Yeah, California with a K, which I think is one of underrated fucking films of the 90s.
Yeah, that was a high school favorite.
Yeah, it's a fucking great film, dude. Like, I have a list of those films, by the way. We can discuss this in another time, like our 90s favorite underrateds.
Yeah.
But like I said, like Brad Pitt fucking did the film, and the whole gimmick, not the whole gimmick, the thing that what makes it so fucking anticipated was just because like Brad Pitt's playing a fucking Irish dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a fucking line that he said to Harrison Ford. I forgot what's fucking Harrison Ford's character's name, but like he's like, let me fucking Google it. Let me fucking Google his name. All right, hold on.
I'm ahead of you. It's Tom O'Meara.
Tom. Yeah, Tom. So he said like, this is not an American story, Tom. This is a fucking Irish one. Like, and I was just like, fucking, dude, me as a fucking non-native English speaker at the time, sitting there in the cinema, like, I remember I was 17 and shit, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, God damn, this guy is fucking great. Like, he's like, for fuck's sake, Frankie. And I was like, man, this guy's so good.
Yeah.
And like, then like, remember that fucking website before IMDb, Mr. Showbiz or some shit?
To be honest, man, I actually don't.
You don't know? Like basically there was an old website called Mr. Showbiz where I would read all my fucking reviews.
Okay.
And people just fucking hate Brad Pitt's performance at the time.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, what is this fucking cartoony shit? And I was like, what? You guys are fucking nuts, man. This guy is so good.
Yeah.
So 3 years later, he repeat the same shit, but like, in Snatch, he played essentially like a gypsy fucking Romanian, Irish, whatever.
Right.
Like he's playing an Irish gypsy, right?
Yeah.
And he doubled down on the fucking accent, man. And I was like, man, that's the way you should fucking do it, It's fucking brilliant, dude. I'm a huge fan of Brad Pitt, so I just like, I could talk forever about him.
You did it. You actually do a pretty fucking good Irish accent, man. I was impressed. I was like, damn.
Dude, I there's a time when I just all the time, all I do is like fucking make fun of Irish people. So yeah, you know, like I figure if Caucasians can make fun of like the ching chongs and all that shit, so I can do the, you know, I'm never offended about that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'll do it the other way around too, so it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be honest, I don't think that Caucasians are allowed to do that, but they do it. I think it's perfectly acceptable in like common culture. It's
fine. It's fine, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's good. It's all good, man.
As long as you're not kissing the Blarney Stone.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You know, every time I call my Caucasian friend, I don't even care if they're Irish or not, and you know, this is back when I was living in New York. And I'll just start the call with like, "Hi, hi. How are you this morning, laddie?" You know.
Man, you're very a very experienced Irish accent guy. Respect.
Yeah, man. Someday we'll do that, dude. Like someday maybe I'll do a cameo in a film where, dude, there's nothing fucking that I love more than seeing an Asian guy playing a character that's not stereotypically Asian, you know, and that happened several times in a film. Sorry, I'm going all over the place, but like, have you seen?
No, good.
Have you seen The Salton Sea?
What? Say it again.
Have you seen The Salton Sea? Val Kilmer.
No, I have not.
You should fucking watch it, man. It's like one of the, I think it was late 90s or early 2000. He's basically playing like a white Miles Davis, like he's playing a trumpeter.
Yeah.
Who is sort of like hooking on drugs and also into that fucking life of crime and all that shit. And it's basically a film where he's dealing with all sorts of shady fucking drug dealer types and all that stuff. It's a crime thriller movie. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I fucking remember that I always love, do you know this fucking Asian American actor called B.D. Wong?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so B.D. Wong in Salton Sea, he plays like a Asian cowboy.
Right.
And he did the whole shtick with the fucking accent. How you doing, all? You know, like, and all that shit. And it's fucking amazing, man. Like, I just like, all right, that's, you know what? If I'm an Asian American who's struggling to find fucking work because like all they offer you is like the stereotype Asian roles, that's what you gotta do, dude. You gotta go fucking white, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever see Dario Argento's last film that he directed? What's it called? It's called like Occhiali Neri, like black glasses. Black glasses. No, I didn't even know that's out, dude. Like, cause like I was trying to find, you know, fucking my only source is like iTunes. So right.
I was does this film exist? Like, has it found any distributor and all that shit? So basically, I never get.
It has. I mean, it's you know, it's not as good as like opera. You know what I mean? It's not like a good.
But it's not as bad as Giallo.
It's definitely sort of like a middle of the road. Like, I mean, in my opinion, the last good Dario Argento film was like the Stendhal syndrome with his daughter.
Stendhal syndrome.
Yeah, I really liked.
Argento.
Some people might. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people might disagree with me, but I really connected with the Stendhal syndrome. But after that, they just seemed to not be all that great. But this one still is not didn't, you know, surpass the Stendhal syndrome, but it's not great. I'm basically kind of just tiptoeing around the fact that it's not that great. But what's interesting about it is that it stars a woman. Well, I mean, the character is blind, and she's a prostitute, and she ends up making friends with this little Chinese boy whose parents die. Like, this happens within the first 15 minutes of the movie. And what's funny about it is that like it's an Italian movie, so it's like this little boy who's just like speaking in Italian the whole time. Mm-hmm. And it blew me away just because you don't. That's like, I just never.
Okay, now I gotta fucking. Now I gotta Google it.
I never even considered that there would be a Chinese little boy who would speak fluent Italian.
Are you fucking kidding me, Rob? Are you fucking kidding? Dude, Chinese are everywhere, man. Like, they speak fucking Mexican, they speak fucking Spanish and all that shit.
Spanish. You know? Yeah, no, I mean, obviously when I consider it logically. Of course, like, I mean, of course, there must be some that do, but just seeing it in a film, like, I don't think I've seen a film where just there's like a 7-year-old Chinese boy who's just speaking, fluent, perfectly intoned Italian. That blew me away.
Okay.
But whatever. Just letting you know. Another thing I should also mention too, for like the Asian, because he's not really playing against type, because he is playing sort of like his parents are like immigrants and he was born there, but like the ultimate sort of like Asian playing against type that I can think of is the guy in The Big Lebowski who takes a piss on the rug.
Oh yeah, that motherfucker, that fucking Korean dude or some shit, like the muscle boy. I remember that. He came along with that fucking ponytailed motherfucker. Yeah. That's a great fucking character, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm looking at fucking Black Glasses now. I want to watch it, man. Like, look at this. Look at that poster, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
That's a fucking great poster. Man. So, okay, I'll put this on my watch list.
Yeah. I can probably...
By any means necessary.
I can probably send that to you.
Oh, it's on Shudder. It's on Shudder.
Oh, is it? That makes sense.
It's on Shudder. Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
How's it going with your project, eh? That one that shall not be mentioned right now.
Well, we can't really. I mean, I can't really say a whole lot about it. One thing I will say though is that I'm meeting the producer of it in Montreal. He's flying up from New York, so we can have a face to face about it. One of our prospective financiers should be present as well. So, maybe try to link up and get a lunch or something like that together.
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, because. Here's something that was kind of interesting is that I sent the script to a guy who, like, I was kind of like, I have a cinematographer who's my first choice, but I was trying to like make sure that if he was busy that I'd have someone kind of like on backup. So I've been kind of like trying to in a sense like groom.
Are you still talking about the adaptation, or are you talking about your original?
I'm talking about the adaptation, basically just a script that I received that I kind of rewrote, and then
gotcha.
And then
man, you got so many fucking projects.
No, but they're all just just projects that are floating
into development.
Exactly, right. Just floating in a sort of limbo state. But all I'm trying to say about this one is that I sent the script to this cinematographer just to sort of say, hey man, like this is sort of this thing that we're doing, and just take a look at it. And maybe if you're interested and it fits into your schedule, I'd like you maybe to think about lensing this film for me. We're still in the very early stages, whatever. And he comes back to me with like just saying like, okay, well, I have a lot of notes, but I want to have a call with you. And I said, okay. But I'm talking to you because I want you to be a cinematographer, not because I want to collaborate with you on the script. I mean, I understand that there should be some input, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is something that sort of maybe there was a misunderstanding of kind of like where the project was, because he thought that there was still some wiggle room to kind of like, or I'm just doing a spec script or something. It's like, no, this is something that we're doing, and for you to sort of come in and start acting like me and you are going to just kind of start from the bottom and
jam on the story.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, dude, like it's a movie. Like, you have to kind of fall in line and you have to be the cinematographer. So figure out the best way that you can make this, I guess this idea that you think is stupid, figure out the best way to make it come to life. So anyways, so ultimately it was sort of an annoying conversation, but it actually helped me.
Well, you can bleep this out later, but like, did he do something that I know?
He didn't. He did a bunch of music videos that I liked, and I liked the coloring, and I liked the way that he handled kind of like layering, and it just made sense for this project too. So I thought I might as well get in touch because I'm a fan of this guy's work. But then I discovered like that, this is something that I'm sure you've discovered as well. And I've been thinking about it since you told me last time. And this is something that, of course, that I've known, and it's something that's very obvious. But a big part of being a director or being a manager of any in any sense is figuring out who you're talking to, and then figuring out how to talk to them, and ultimately like keeping your eye on the ball and making sure that you're working towards like a goal, and you don't get caught into a needless combative situation, you know. And
Agreed.
And that's
Agreed,
that
man.
really is that really is the name of the game.
I think here's the thing. It's weird that you said that, because like of late I've been thinking about it constantly, how the description of being a director has changed so much over the course of like, you know, what it is back then in the 70s, 80s or whatever, you know, like a director for the most of it meant you're the captain and you're the fucking, pretty much you're the Genghis Khan of the fucking set, you know?
The new sheriff in town.
The new sheriff in town, undisputed. And I don't think that time exists anymore. Maybe save for some really big directors, obviously. But for now, generally, I feel like being a director means you are Mr. Diplomatic. You know, like you're the guy who has to talk with all these people with different levels of ego / creative sort of point of view, which is not necessarily aligned with you, and you have to kind of navigate your way so we are not clashing head on, you know. Mm-hmm. I think that's the description nowadays, and I feel directors who are less sort of, and there's nothing wrong with it, you know. I think the directors who are sort of less stubborn and sort of feel strong about that vision, mm-hmm. As long as they know how to communicate, as long as they can be a people person, tend to be more successful than those who are so fucking unshackled in their sort of vision. You know, like they are the types who are, I gotta get what I want by any means necessary. Yeah. You know, and I think those guys tend to, for the most of it, tend to disappear quickly. You know, like they tend to go back to their, oh, I gotta go back to to become a baker right now or whatever. You know, like I think this is the times that we are in right now. Yeah, you know,
absolutely. I mean, like at the end of the day, you just have to be someone who other people want to work with. You know, exactly. And you know, that was the case when I was talking with this guy. Is that like I felt like I don't know that I can deal with this. Like if this is what things are like right now, and you're and because I know that this guy has directed before. He's been in the director's chair, but doing smaller projects. Right. So I mean, so he's had that taste of having like the creative control of having the final word on the creative, and that just spells disaster.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Man. Yeah, more often than not, it doesn't work. But I think that I'll probably be able to get my first choice anyways. The reason why I'm saying this is because I ended up having a meeting with the writer of the. I mean, I took that script that I got originally that I wasn't entirely satisfied with, and I basically chopped it in half, and then, well, actually more. I probably chopped 60% off of it and then just rewrote it all, and I sent it back to him, and I kind of just thought, well, I just think it's better, but then like I kind of. After having like sort of the conversation with this other guy, I was kind of like, this sort of idea of like, look, we have to put our emotions aside. We have to just like, not worry about our feelings and just try to make sure that we have the best script possible. It's like, this sounds good in theory, but like, I think that it is important to be empathetic because you're dealing with stuff that people are like, if the script is good, it means that someone's put their own experiences into it. It's really difficult to not take it personally when someone comes at it in a callous manner. You're not really seeing any kind of like willingness to improve the script on its own terms.
Yeah. But like,
just to finish real quick is just that being on kind of the other end of that. When I ended up having the meeting with the writer, and I was kind of going into it just thinking like, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very like empathetic and try to be like, look, man, like I didn't mean to like before we get into this, I didn't mean to step on any of your dialogue. I know there's probably some stuff in there that you cared about and that I kind of just like slashed, but like I'm here to kind of work with you, like we're on the same team. So like I kind of just made that clear in the beginning, and I was like, yeah, fuck, this is how I need to be approaching creative this early, especially working with like the original writer and stuff, because as they say, you can catch a lot more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
Hey, that's a good fucking what do you call it? Metaphor? Yeah, whatever. Right, but like that's fucking cool. And I agree with you, man. Like I think, I'm learning this as we go along too. I'm so used to, like being a director in Indonesia. Sometimes, most of the time, especially with my kind of experience right now, I kind of pretty much, I am lucky enough to have it my own way. Mm-hmm. That means if I write something more than less, like there's not a lot of notes coming in. Like, I pretty much go carte blanche, Mm-hmm. But honestly, now it's a totally different experience, man. Like, I'm not gonna say I always enjoy it. I'm almost enjoying it, but like honestly, it's almost like a necessary step for you to evolve. Like it takes a village to build a ship, right? Mm-hmm. So I do agree with you. Like I think it's more about like you have to understand that some people do have like their own way of seeing things, and especially if you are working with a writer, it was their baby at some point, right? And the last thing you want to say is like, hey, fuck this script, dude. Like, like everything's wrong about this, You just have to see it from other people's perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes you a more mature filmmaker. And this is me talking as somebody who thinks of himself as being the most immature motherfucker,
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Wise words to give, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we actually talked about this last time, kind of like the days of the new sheriff in town are kind of over. But I do believe that, like, there is, you still have to have like the...
Yeah, you still have to have that kind of basic foundation of your vision, like
you gotta be more of a Captain Picard instead of and less of a Captain Kirk, Gotta be more of a Captain Picard.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But like I agree that you don't wanna be too much of a collaborator to the point where once you see the result, you're like, fuck, man, like I should have really like fight for my vision, because
at the end of the day, it's your name that goes on it, a Timo Tjahjanto film,
Exactly. You're right.
So it's important to just like keep that in mind, and that's something. When I did The Sadness, that was something that I often, sometimes I'll watch like a video of a long distance race, like a marathon race, and I'll watch like these people, and they're kind of going at like a steady pace, like a casual kind of jog, and they're next to the
Yep.
person like who they're competing with, like everyone's kind of running at a similar speed, and when it gets to that last like 200-meter stretch, then the energy that they've conserved, they just like tap into that energy, and then they just like get to the finish line. That last 200 meters is sort of like the any means necessary, I'm gonna just tap into like whatever energy is left, and I don't care. Like, if I get to the finish line and I end up having, I end up throwing up and having a brain aneurysm, it doesn't matter, because the goal is just getting to the finish line.
Or you shit yourself,
right?
As most.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, like,
you're right, and it is a fucking competition in a way. Like, there's no other way around it, dude. Like I had my share of people trashing my films in festivals. It's fine, dude.
There's that one reviewer. There's one reviewer that always hates your films. Do you know the guy I'm talking about? I mean, you don't say his name, but do you know who I'm talking about? There's like this one guy who's always like, well, Timo Tjahjanto's back with another mindless violence thing.
Yeah, he fucking hates my film, and it's okay, man. Yeah. Like, dude, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I think I'm not. This is not this to film critics, but like I think I'm already lucky enough to be a filmmaker, and not. I will never dream of being a film critic. I like reviewing films in my own head, but like I would never be able to do that as an occupation. So it's all good, man. Like, dude, like I had fucking Hideo Kojima like wrote like, oh fuck, I watched this Night Comes for Us, and it's like a boring fucking thing.
What?
And but like, then again, it's fucking Hideo Kojima, man. Like, like it's I don't know, like people seems to fucking really glorify his ass, and I'm just all I see is like a fucking
Nerd.
Nah, I wouldn't want to say it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. You live.
I
man.
know.
You live.
It's not a.
know?
It's nice to kind of, get that shit off your chest though, because it's like.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. Like Hideo Kojima, like said, like, oh, Nikon Source is boring, but then a couple days later, I remember Devon Sawa, fucking actor of Casper, fucking say like, you guys gotta watch Nikon Source, and I was like, fuck yes, man, fuck Hideo Kojima, I'm all about Devon Sawa, dude. I'm kidding.
Yeah, man, fucking Final Destination.
Final fucking Destination, man. Like he's a great fucking actor. So yeah,
Totally cool. One movie that I saw recently was Kinds of Kindness. Did I tell you that I saw that?
Yeah, you told me, man. Like, and I'm fucking jealous, dude. Like, I'm not saying like I want to watch all like Yorgos Lanthimos fucking movies, but like that one looks fucking. It's a what do you call it? Like a collection of short films, right?
An anthology, yeah.
An anthology, sorry. Yeah, it is, right? So
yeah. And it's cool because it's all the same actors, and they're playing different characters, and but there's one character that stays the same through the anthology, and other than that, like all the characters are different. So you're kind of like, but because it's the same actors, and because there's this one sort of constant character, you're constantly trying to figure out how these stories kind of fit together, or how they kind of are supposed to exist in what the same kind of world, or what they mean against each other. Like,
you mean like a connective thread, right?
Sure, or maybe like these three different stories with three different sort of ideas. Like, how do they? What is the point being made if you contrast them? Maybe that's a way to look at it too. I don't fucking know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're back to Yorgos Lanthimos being like the cynical kind of audience hostile kind of asshole that we loved when we first saw like The Lobster and Dogtooth and shit.
Uh-huh.
So that's why that's what I like about the film. I count myself as being someone who didn't like Poor Things all that much, despite its great financial and critical success. I thought it was like it wasn't. He deserves to sort of have the opportunity to be more subversive than that,
Okay.
Like,
I haven't seen Poor Things as well.
Yeah, Kinds of Kindness is a subversive film, I think, and whereas Poor Things just is sort of like towing the line, and it's like it has the facade of subversiveness, but it's not. I don't believe that it's doing anything challenging. But whatever. Who the fuck am I, man? All I'm saying is that like Kinds of Kindness feels like, okay, cool. Like this is the movie that he made for himself, whereas Poor Things is the one he made for the
studio.
For the studios.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah. I should have just said that.
Nah, it's all right, man. It's fine. But like having said that, man, I want to close it by you talking about like anthology and Yorgos Lanthimos. I want you to see. Have you seen this Argentinian anthology called Wild Tales?
No, I haven't seen that.
Watch it, dude. Wild Tales.
I just saw an Argentinian movie today called Electrophilia, and it's sort of like it's not out yet. It's like a very, very new movie.
Okay.
I won't talk about it too much because I'm probably not supposed to, but like whatever, it's listed. It's basically just about a
girl waking up.
Yeah, a girl gets struck by lightning, and then she kind of like has sort of an awakening, and she ends up like sort of getting together with these other lightning strike survivors, and they end up sort of forming a little cell group, very, 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 very similar to Cronenberg's Crash.
Right. Okay.
Where it's like they're seeking
electric shocks.
Yeah, a sexual high through electricity.
Oh, fucking amazing, man.
All I'm going to say is that I really like the idea of this movie. I think the movie has a great idea.
Okay, gotcha, man. But like, dude, the Argentinians are making some fucking amazing films, dude. Honestly.
Did you see When Evil Lurks?
Oh, fucking Damian Rupna or whatever his name is.
The guy who did
Damien.
What's that movie that he did before? It's called like.
Yeah, Damien Rukna.
Yeah.
Damien Rukna. Yeah. Nah, I haven't seen it, dude.
Yeah.
I have, dude. I gotta fucking catch up on this shit, man. I haven't seen a lot of fucking stuff, but like I heard it's very fucking nihilistic and bleak, right?
Yeah, but it is. It's got some very very striking scenes. Like maybe like 3 scenes in the film that are just like wow, this is some good stuff. This is some good challenging stuff, and you can sense sort of like the the hostility towards the audience, which is something that I really like and cherish.
All right.
But I don't know. I find that the mythology that he creates is like it's too complicated. There's too many little things going on. It's not like when you're coming up with a sort of a supernatural mythology. I mean, you got to keep it simple. You know, like okay, well, you either have to use silver or cut off its head, or you know what I'm saying. Like it can't be too many. Like it can't be like 15 rules.
It can be too It can be too complicated for the audience to starting to get to make them too hard to follow.
And it's not
right, something like
that.
Yeah,
and it's not even about it being too complicated. Like, you know, if you can make something complicated, the problem is that I believe that what happens is it interferes with the horror. Like it interferes with the movie being scary because it has to stay kind of very
people like, it has to say visceral and yeah, without making it too technical.
Right, exactly.
Right? Something like that.
So you can engage with it on kind of a more basic emotional level instead of like kind of taking it in a cerebral kind of way. But anyways, listen.
Gotcha, man.
Let's call this episode another successful episode with Rob and Timo, and hopefully we can get together not too long.
Okay.
When do you actually start shooting?
Somewhere in August, early August, dude.
Oh, word.
So yeah.
Okay, cool.
So let's try to fit in one more before that.
Sure, man. Okay, cool. Well, I'll let you go. I'd like to actually next time talk to you about the films of Larry Clark.
Oh, shit. Get it on, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, because...
I'm actually quite first. The only one that I haven't seen is that fucking... What is it? The town name and the girl?
The town name and the girl?
Yeah. No, there's a name of a town and then the Marpa girl, some shit like that. Larry Clark.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's
Marfa
girl,
yeah,
right?
Something like that. Marfa girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about Larry Clark. Let's talk about Larry Clark next time.
Sure. Yeah, because I
is he cancelled? Is he cancelled yet?
No. Guys like him don't get cancelled because they're too. They knew when to get in and they knew when to get out, you know, and he kind of is under the radar now.
Gotcha.
But it's funny.
That motherfucker is like 81 years old, man.
Yeah, dude, he's getting on. But I got into sort of an interesting like argument about Larry Clark recently, and I found in this argument I found myself defending kind of like what I care the most about when it comes to movies.
What is it?
Well, just like
I hope the answer. Think of your answer very carefully. All right. What is it?
Well, just like you know, what's the point of all this? The point of all this is to try to like get people to feel feelings, and if you can get someone to feel sort of feelings they felt before, then great, good for you. You know, you made someone sort of feel happy or feel
right.
But what Larry Clark does with you know, his whole thing is sort of this fetishization of youth, and I feel like
it is.
I feel like what's going.
He's a fucking.
He's a fucking what?
Pervert. he's a pervert of youth.
Yeah,
is what I call him.
Sure, but like the thing is that.
But here's the thing. There's nothing. Like depending on what level you're taking it, dude, the older you get, the more you are kind of thinking about like, oh, those times when you are in your 20s,
exactly.
or those times when you are in your teen. You know, like, so I see what angle he's coming from.
Right.
You know, But again, you were saying.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, like you're basically getting into it. Like, I mean, what he's doing is he's tapping into sort of this time of life that's just like absolute,
it's forever gone.
but
man.
not just that.
Yeah,
but
it's not coming.
The fact that it's forever gone is one. That's one aspect of it. But another aspect of it is just how like insane and completely impulsive and irrational and crazy, but also like electrically charged with just with vibrant energy and like it's just this probably one of the most exciting times of life, and for a multitude of reasons, not the least of which would be like the sexual reasons, but for us to sort of not attempt to engage with that, or for us to sort of admonish Larry Clark for trying to put us back in touch with something like that, I think it's like, why, what the fuck's the problem with that? I don't understand like the issue. I think it's what he's offering is something that no one else is offering, and I don't think there's a problem with any of it either. It's not like I don't regard it as being exploitational in any way, because I mean it really isn't. Like there's nobody in his films no one in his films who are underage are actually being exploited in any way, as far as I can tell. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you view exploitation.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm in over my head here a little bit. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Look, man, I'm as much as like some people fucking hate him and all that shit. I'm pretty fucking sure there's like goddamn couple hundred or 1,000 fucking dudes who are like so jealous of what he's doing and shit. Like who's envious. Oh man, like I wish I can be fucking Larry Clark, having his camera sticking so close to a fucking 19-year-old fucking crotch and shit. Like so. Look, man, who am I to judge, right? So. All good, man. Like, let's fucking talk about him in depth. In our next.
Yeah. I'll actually watch. I'll watch all of it, because I've only seen Kids, Ken Park, Bully, and Teenage Caveman are the ones that I've seen.
I haven't seen Teenage Caveman, but I've seen Gummo. Like, so my list is pretty similar with yours. So I'll go with.
Gummo is not Larry Clark. It's just Harmony Korine.
Harmony Korine. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Sorry. But like, I don't know. Like for some reason, like I associate those two.
No, guys, I mean,
I don't know why.
Well, Ken Park was written in part by
Harmony Korine. Yeah.
So I can see that one. Oh, you know what's one? Let me before we go. Did you ever see that? I think it's a Brazilian movie. It's called Pixote, like Pixote. It's from like 81 or 80 or something.
No.
You got to watch this movie. This is like one of the craziest, like sort of.
How do you spell it?
Pixote.
Pixote. Oh,
yeah. Pixote. It means like little guy, or like peewee in Portuguese. But this is a movie that was cited as like a big inspiration for Harmony Korine, his filmmaking style.
For kids?
I'd say for just everything that he does kind of feels like it's where he's trying to kind of, the filmmaker is kind of just working with actors and trying to catch magic, sort of in a documentary kind of style or whatever.
Right.
And oh boy.
I'll check it out, man. It's on Mubi, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, maybe that's one that we can, like, that's actually, if we were to talk about like Larry Clark and Harmony Korine for that matter, this is a good sort of like a prototype of that kind of filmmaking. Like maybe the first thing that I've seen that's kind of like that. Man, this movie had a really strong, it made me have a very strong emotional reaction, to say the least.
Okay, I'll check it out, man. I'm already bookmarking it on my movie.
Cool, man. Well, all right, listen. You have a nice day there in beautiful Winnipeg, and I'll talk to you hopefully next time. I'll be in touch.
Bye-bye, guys. Yeah. See ya next time.
Bye-bye.